Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. Let's see what if Allied went back in time. Now, Allied, in my opinion, I think Allied is very subjective, as if you're caught up, you may include someone like, this is a spoiler, because Webtoons don't have every chapter, but I also read this on Naver, and then after I read it on Naver, I go to just Chrome and read it there. I just Google Chrome, random sites on there. But, you might count like Warren after him and Jerry had their little fight that I consider closer than most people think, but still. But my ally that I say is Daniel, Zach, Vin, Vasco, Jace, Jay, Hudson, Jihan, Jibyom, Jake, and Jerry. And if I'm gonna count linemen, that makes like 12. So, or 13, one of the two. But yeah. Now, the way they go back in time is very different set points in time where their life would change. Daniel, you don't really have a point in life where he changed majorly, except for like when he gets a second body. But I think his life would change probably with his introduction, which is understandable. So introduction where Daniel would go back in time to basically where we see him in the middle of the story, or he looks like basically chapter one of Lookism. Yeah. Zach is put 1 year before the story begins, where he's knocked out by Johan in a boxing match. Jin is when he finds out his sister had died. Vasco and Jace are basically kind of the same spot in time where Vasco would confront his bullies, even though his body is basically just carved apart. Jace is just there watching. Jay's life would change when he meets Sophia, because she's basically the reason he fights now. One of the reasons, but yeah. Hudson is when he meets Taesu Ma, Jihan, and Jibyom. We don't know much about them. I'd say their life probably changed when they moved to Chungcheong-do. Chungcheong-do? I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, I'd say that because Ji Chang is the king of Seoul at first, which I always assume that means him and his brothers and family lived in Seoul. But then I think that maybe his parents might have moved, and he kind of looks after his brothers now, so he moved them plus himself to the countryside. So probably just their first day in the countryside is when they is a very impactful moment. Jake Kim would be his dad's funeral, where he kind of realizes how many people respect his dad. Then Jerry Kwan would probably be when he meets Jake Kim. So yeah, pause. Okay. Now, the story starts at the end of the lives of many members of Allied. Daniel Park would wake up. After he had died, he wakes up and he's saying something. He doesn't know what it is, but it kind of felt reflexive of him saying Pikachu for some reason. He hadn't thought in his head, I haven't said that in years. Then something else, Zach Lee. He wakes up hearing the count 1, 2, 3. Then Zach would just stand up before the count even gets to 5. Then Vin Jin. He wakes up seeing a body, and his response is just, no fucking way. And then we have Vasco in his usual, just stance where he has his arms above his head. And then Jace would just mumble, same thing as Vin, no fucking way. And Vasco just says, huh? I'm confused. And then Jay would just be staring at a big woman who's speaking Russian. And she says, I'll make the young master powerful. Then Hudson. Hudson is on his knees, giving an introduction to Taesu. As he says, I'm Hudson on? And he looks around very confused. Jihan and Jibyom would just be in a room covered in sunlight. And Jihan says, Jibyom is... And then Jibyom just nods his head saying, I'm so confused now. And then we have Jake Kim holding a picture at his dad's funeral. Jake doesn't know what to do, but he just kind of thinks this is a dream until he just gets a grip and realizes this is like real life. Everyone kind of confused if Jake stopped marching, but then Jake turns around, sits in the car behind him, and just yells, I'm making my own crew, or I'm making my own gang. And then he just yells, he yells back at the crowd, specifically at Samuel, saying, Samuel, so I've heard your claims. If they reign true, I ask that you stand with me here. Samuel just doesn't know what to do until Jerry would just grab him and bring him up to the car, and Jake would pull Jerry up as well. The car kind of dented with Jerry, but still. And, well, Jerry just smiled, saying, it's good to have you back, Jake. And Jake kind of realized that Jerry went through what he did. Jerry just met Jake and was just said, like, when Jerry first met Jake, he was like, oh yeah, it's like good to meet you. This Jerry. Uncle Jerry actually bullied Jake for a little bit. But this Jerry wouldn't bully Jake. He says, thank you for giving me the opportunity to guard you. And Jake actually just will train at MMA early because Jerry mentioned, oh yeah, this guy knows MMA. Not MMA, but he knows how to fight. You should learn. So while Jake learned MMA, Jerry would learn boxing properly this time. Because his dad's alive and his dad is trying to get him to a boxing school. So yeah. Now, Jake did notice that his physique is a lot more toned. He realized this physique is pretty strong. As he says, like, a body like this could likely contend me when I was 15, 16, which is pretty impressive. So yeah. Now, on the life of other members of Allied, Jay at this point was probably about 6 years old, 7 years old. He had mentioned to Sophia, and the woman would speak fluent Russian. She says, I will make the young master powerful, but I want to give him a test first. Your first test, she starts speaking Korean, to escape my grip. She grabs him. Jay, off reflex, being gradually to execute perfect systema, shoving Sophia back a little bit. All she did is just smirk and say, geniuses like you make this job easy and fun. She just rushes at Jay, full speed ahead, and he does the same. Now Hudson. Hudson was talking to Tae Ma, where he introduced himself. And the only difference is that Hudson says he has the same conviction as Tae-Soo. And because he's in the middle of first generation war right now, he basically says he wishes to be someone who can protect Ansan and show them the power. He doesn't care about much besides showing off that Ansan is not to be trifled with. And Tae-Soo says, you say that's my conviction. What makes you say that? Hudson says, because you put all your power into your fist and you don't leave Ansan unless someone is challenging you. So Hudson basically gives off everything he knows about this young Tae-Soo from stories that Tae-Soo told him personally, but also something he knows Tae-Soo would do even if Tae-Soo didn't have to tell him directly. With this, Tae-Soo just laughs and says, okay, you do share my conviction, and I'll teach you the ways on my fist. I'm going to be making Hudson have a whole different power set in this one, or skill set in this one, because I like the one fist, but it could be definitely be better. Alright, now Vin Jin. Vin Jin had seen his sister's body, then went to a funeral for her. But due to Vin basically knowing how to utilize every aspect of his body, when he fights Tae-Jin this time, he doesn't lose, but he doesn't win. In fact, it's more of a draw, and Tae-Jin says, we're both retired to fight, and I don't know where that strength came from, but I'm leaving. And he leaves. So, yeah, kind of how it went. And Vin Jin looks at the sky, he's on the ground, not really even sad about his sister's death. He grieved for nearly a decade. He's done with it. She's like, I wonder if this happened to anyone else. I'll find out in 3 years anyway. As he just stands up, puts on some glasses that he found at a random store that had been destroyed in the middle of Chun Yang's massive fights, and just keeps walking as he finds Mary Kim, who throws him a pair of pants, telling him you can't walk in the street naked. As Vin says, it was either naked or wear chains, and he doesn't wear chains. So yeah. Now, Jihan and Ji-byung look around their new house as they find Ji-Chang talking to Baku-no, the old man. Ji-Chang was actually rather surprised to see his brothers, and he asked them, what do you want? I'm talking. Jihan and Ji-byung just say, we know why we're here, and to be frank, we don't feel bad about you losing, but instead, we want you to give up your title as a White Snake. And Ji-Chang's like, hey, even my title's King of Seoul, why do you give my title of a White Snake? Why are you guys even asking me that? And Ji-Han just bows, saying he would like that title. Him and Ji-byung have been practicing their technique. They need proper training to make their hands as strong as their brother. Ji-Chang didn't believe them and just said, okay, show me your technique. Ji-Han and Ji-byung do as told, and Ji-Han realized that their technique is better than his. They're just not strong enough to execute it perfectly. He even tells them, there's a lot of thought put into this. If you guys were physically better, you'd kill me. So yes, I'll train you. And Bagu's like, oh yeah, your brothers are strong. I'll help you train them. And then that's kind of how it goes. Yeah. Now Vasco and Jace come to it at the same time. And Vasco actually, when he came to, he winced in pain. He goes, what the hell's happening? But then suddenly one of the bullies ran at Vasco, and Jace would jump up with the chair in the air, with the chair, slamming it over the bully's head, telling Vasco, "You're small, you can't fight them like this." The other bully would just actually say, "What the hell are you talking about?" But Vasco just ran, put the bully in the clinch, and hit him in the face as many times as he could, aiming right for his teeth. And Jason says, "Oh yeah, I forgot. You can kind of do whatever you want." Master just says he knows how to hit where it hurts, and the teeth is gonna hurt like hell if you get them knocked out. And Jay says, "You have a point." Jay straps on their chair, holding it up, and Vasco goes back to his acting position. And the bullies begin running away as Goo just says, "Wow, such a small kid bitched out big guys like that quickly. Impressive." This actually does execute Goo training Vasco for about a month because Vasco's intriguing. He doesn't call Vasco a special friend. He says, he even mentioned that Vasco is very impressive. So with this, Goo does find an interest in Vasco because he's going around school. He recently found Yu Sung and Eugene. So Vasco likely to be a good target for him. Which was that Vasco doesn't really share the same sentiment. He's like, "All right, well, good training you. See ya." And then he kind of leaves from there. But due to just Goo having nearly main character energy, there's just him being Goo. Vasco's training with Goo had actually buffed him up a little bit, giving him a pretty filled out physique already, so it works out. That being just frail and skinny, Vasco has a pretty average level physique with a bit of muscle definition. And he'd had a majority of his scars covered up with Goo getting him tattoos. So yeah. But Vasco had gotten very similar to like you got the Yakuza-esque tattoos like Jake has, but there's like a giant allied vortex right on his chest. Like where instead of there's a hummingbird, it's an allied vortex, and Jace got the same thing. So yeah. Now Zack would come to the sense of pain, a few big sense of pain, and he realizes this is like sense of pain he hasn't felt in a while. He started wobbling as he heard the announcer say 4, 5, and then the announcer stopped when Zack was fully on his feet, and he's wobbling a bit, but he's ready. Zack quickly got a grip, and I'm gonna tell you one thing: Daniel would likely mention he had 2 bodies because why is no one mentioning that Daniel looks just like his second body? Like they know he's kidnapped, so it's no one mentioning that they're friends and roommates, not brothers. So either they're blatantly ignoring it, or later they mention it and Daniel tells them the truth. So yeah, Zack thinks this is like just a different supernatural event, and Johann looks at Zack saying, "Oh wow, you can really handle the power I hit you with." Zack is mainly just a bit pissed off, and due to Zack knowing how to enter heat mode, he does it immediately, even though he's not as strong as he could be. And he also doesn't want Johann to copy his just Daiho blockings early on, because Johann's body can't handle it. He's using heat mode. He just basically just mushes Johann and just nails him, just pins him down and beats him mercilessly. By the time he's done, Johann's just a bloody pulp, and Zack had won the fight. But also how hard he was hitting Johann, his gloves are basically just done for. Was Zack is the winner, or Zack's coach is looking at Zack like, "Where did that come from? That was not in or out fighting. That was just street fighting, but you did it all within the rules," which I'm amazed by. Zack just threw his gloves off and says, "Give me new ones." And Zack just goes on to win the tournament. So, yeah. Now on to Daniel. Daniel will be in the bathroom, and he's finishing saying something, and he says, "Pikachu?" Very confused. Logan looks at Daniel saying, "Pikachu? No, finish the word. Finish it properly." As he goes to hit Daniel. Reflexively, Daniel just ducks and socks Logan right in the groin. And big little Daniel's decently powerful. Like, we know he's physically decently strong. So Logan is just slumped out right now. He was hit in the groin by someone who's pretty physically strong. Daniel got a grass and tried to run to the bathroom, but one guy would just try to stop Daniel. But Daniel just kind of ran over him because this guy is not relatively big. So then the guy who plays soccer would be up to stop Daniel next, but Daniel just kind of grabs him and pulls him to the ground, and then jumps on him. That's kind of how the fight ended. But Daniel ran away, to go to Soul, he wants to move to Soul, and he moves to Soul about a day earlier. Now, this arc's basically the same until Daniel gets his haircut, where he does not get his haircut by Eli, he gets someone proper to cut his hair. And, yeah. Pause. So, yeah, so Daniel doesn't get his haircut by Eli, just someone else, and his haircut is normal this time. He doesn't look like Kim Jong-un. And Daniel's walking and would originally meet Mira. Well, Daniel doesn't hit on her, like Zach thought he was, or he kind of was, actually, never mind. But then when he meets Mira, Zach just says, Daniel! This is when this Daniel's haircut is different. He notices it this time. But then you would also notice Zach is wearing his traditional, like hunt for big deal art attire, like the sweater and all that. Kind of what you see here is Zach kind of looks like that in the corner. And immediately, Zach and Daniel both realize something happened to them both. Then Zach says, alright, so it wasn't just me and you. As Daniel's like, well, it happened to you too. Zach's like, alright, it wasn't me and you. As he just points behind him and he sees, Vasco, Jay, Jace, Vin, Hudson, Jihan, GBM, Jake, Jerry. He's all that. He's allied, basically. Jace looks around and says, alright, so we all kind of went back in time, right? And Vasco says, why are you whispering? Zach just slugs Vasco on the side and says, we're in the middle of the street. Talking about time travel isn't the best. And that's Vasco says, oh yes, I forgot. Daniel says, yeah, but besides the time travel thing, how long have you guys been here? Vasco says, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. Jay says, yeah, about 4 or 5 years. Ben says, 3. Zach says, 1. And Jay kind of just didn't speak, and Daniel says, wait, what? You've been here for nearly 10 years? And then Jerry and Jake both say, yeah, we've been here for about 10 years too. So, and immediately Daniel's like, I've been here for 3 days. And we're like, oh yeah, kind of explains why you're still fat. And immediately Vasco just says, we can help you train. Then Daniel looks at Allied as Vasco was wearing his first affiliate drip, like the tank top, the armbands, the gray jumpsuit around his waist. But this time I'm making him keep his long hair because the haircut isn't bad, but it's not the best. So yeah. Zach had his hunt for big deal art clothes on. And Zach mentioned that he's been in Daeho for about a year and he's a proper monk. So yeah. And then I'm going to mention that he can see the difference in Zach because Zach is a lot more calm, but also his fist looks messed up. As Hudson says, yeah, that fist is a bit more intense than my own right now. As Zach says, yeah, I've been hitting a bell really hard with both hands. And Hudson pretends not to notice that, a very obvious dig at his personality. Or just things, I guess, but yeah. Jay had just a Jay High uniform on, with his hair being blonde and black. It's just all black, and it's a bit longer than usual. But he also does have a pretty much, a very obvious, much more muscular physique. So yeah. Vijay had long hair. He had his usual, just Chun-Liang outfit after his training arc, where he has the long hair, glasses, Chun-Liang jacket, all that. And then looks at Daniel saying, Jesus, I forgot that you were a pig. Before he even says the word pig, everyone just slugs him in the sides, and the stomach, and the back. And he says, alright, never mind. And he just sits down on the ground coughing for a second. So yeah. Jake's gonna look at Daniel saying, Jake can afford to get you some surgery if that helps. And yeah. But as they're talking, they hear a yell, and they all recognize it as Samuel's voice. Samuel would yell, Jake, Jerry, hurry up. Quit talking to the pig. We need to do a pig gun. He doesn't like us being late. And Jake just yells back saying, come on, if he wants to fight, I'll fight him. And Samuel says, yeah, us losing the gun 3 times this year does not help us. And Jake says, yeah, whatever. Jerry, get in the car. Alright, see you guys later. And Jake and Jerry leave. And Daniel's like, Samuel's still in Big Deal? And Zach's like, oh yeah, due to Jake being on C News level a long time ago, Samuel never really took disrespect that Jake apparently grew up with him. Yeah, Jake's mom took him in. Daniel was pretty surprised by that. But yeah, after the whole funeral thing, Jake's mom took in Samuel because Samuel's mom doesn't really care about him. So Samuel grew up as the son of Gabrion, even if it wasn't true. Jake's mom liked Samuel, so she's like, you know what? Even if you're not Gabriel's son, you are Jake's brother to the end. So Jake and Samuel, even like Samuel's aware he's not even blood related, but the gang loves him like he is the son of Gabriel, and he appreciates that. So he's kind of just adopted by the Zero generation. So yeah. Now on to J High. By the way, this video is gonna take a few hours, maybe. What time is it right now? I have a haircut at 1, so this video might be paused for a while. But yeah. Now on to J High. Now Benjin, by the way, never bullied Duke. He kind of focused all of his energy on bullying into basically music and martial arts. So yeah. Daniel saw a second body turned in J High, and Allied members were aware that this was a second body. So yeah. Now, Zach and Wilson never had their own fight because they're friends. Little Daniel, who works at a convenience store temporarily, still befriends Jiho and Duke. And this time, when Big Daniel would try to befriend Duke and Jiho, well, Vin already was kind of friends with Duke, or not friends, but Duke actually pointed out that Duke had really good lyrics, and just told Duke, "Oh yeah, if I ask you, can you write lyrics for me sometime?" As Mary Kim is forcing Vin to be nice because she's like, you never bullied anyone before. Don't start now. So yeah. Plus Vin is kind of just an old man in a young body, so he's a bit nicer than usual already. Most of the Allied are old men in young bodies, so yeah. But yeah. So Vin's already friends with Duke, kind of. So when Daniel wanted to invite Duke and Jiho to sit with him, Duke wasn't really confused. He's like, I was gonna sit with Vin, but Vin's sitting with you, so I guess I'll do it. And Jiho just said, okay, why not? And he goes to sit with him as well. Now Dooley does invite Daniel to a bar with like Zach and all that, but Daniel has a better idea, as she calls Hudson, and Hudson will get them in touch with Jackie, and Jackie's able to set up just like a bar scene for them, like they can go hang out in Anton where there's a big club scene, and Big Deal agrees to come as well. So like Big Deal, yeah, we're friends with them. So yeah. But here, well, after Dooley and his friends leave, everyone stays behind. Well, Zach got Mira left, but she was just staying outside, waiting for Zach to come meet her. But they talk about Allied again. The main members do. Samuel's kind of just listening outside with Mira, but they don't hear everything. But remember, the main members of Allied start thinking about reforming the crew, and Jake's like, so do you think your body is as strong as it is, like at its peak right now? Then Daniel says, it likely is. I just never knew how to access it before, but I can access every aspect of its powers because I'm used to this body before. So I'm likely as strong as I am at my peak. So just give me time. And immediately, well, Jake's like, okay, sure. Well, now if you say that and you're confident, big deal's yours. And with this, well, they kind of remake Allied with Big Daniel as the leader, and he's the leader until Little Daniel is in shape. So yeah, now Big Daniel is kind of the unknown representative of the crew and the advisor. Zach is the second in command, but mainly because he's the student of Gong Sok Ji and the man who beat God Dog. That's his title, the man who beat God Dog. So yeah, there's only one God Dog. It's Johan Sung. Jay is just known as the Young Master, as he's basically known as Steve Hong's son, and Jay never really disappointed his dad. In fact, he's more or less just investing and buying a lot of things. So Jay is pretty known as just wealthy on his own without his dad, and his dad just makes his rep a lot better. So yeah. Benjin is the owner of Chunliang, and he lived there till recently. He went to Jay High to see if his friends were still there with him, and he goes to Chunliang every once in a while. So there's really no bad blood between anyone in Chunliang. So yeah, if anything, MC Pesticides is the only person with bad blood because he doesn't like that Vin, who's barely there as much as he is the owner and not him. So yeah. Vasquez was called the Hero of Seoul because his Muay Thai is just legendary. Plus, he's beaten up most like small crews that want to become the King of Seoul. Well, so yeah, he's kind of beating up people who want the title of King of Seoul and they haven't earned it. So yeah. Jace is just kid detective because he's that smart. Jake is the leader of Big Deal. Jerry is the sword of Jake Kim. Samuel So is the shield of Jake Kim. So this is the sword and shield, all that. But yeah. Now, Samuel didn't really mind Jake being the leader of Big Deal, but now he kind of doesn't like Daniel being the leader of Allied, which is controlling Big Deal now. So this made a fight between Daniel and Samuel. And Daniel, you can use this fight as like a refresher of how many martial arts do I still know? And Daniel's just using his basic, like, more just being agile and kind of like a gymnast, using those skills more or less. But he would copy everything Samuel does perfectly. And he's like, all right, my body's at its peak. I just need to make sure I can control every aspect of my body now. And it works. All right, next up. Now, Daniel had an idea. He planned on basically learning from every king. He wanted to plan on learning the abilities of every king that he could. And Hudson doesn't tell Daniel. The secret is that he's met and fought with every king. Only person who knows that Zach did this are literally just Hudson, Jihan, and Zach. Only three people who know what Hudson had done. Other than that, no one else knows. So, yeah. Hudson has fought every king. Aside from, like, the King of Seoul before Ji Chang. And James Lee, if I count him as a king. But, yeah. But he does plan on fighting the King of Seoul once he does arrive. So, yeah, but Daniel does plan on learning everything from Sophia. So, yeah. Now, Daniel would be able to train with Sophia after he got Inu earlier and went to Jay's house for Daniel's own birthday because Jay invited him there. So we met Sophia. Him and Sophia sparred. And Sophia kind of rushes to go all out to make sure Daniel stays down for a while. So with this, well, she goes all out. He's able to like survive it and learn every ability she has, which is just like she's a Russian soldier. I'd say that would be Sambo, and Sistema, but maybe CQC, but we're not sure about that. She's friends with Jin Chol, so I assume she might know CQC. But yeah. But what else? Yeah. Now for this one, later we go to where little Daniel is asleep and Big Daniel would meet his mom, I guess, or his mom would meet his big body, but she doesn't know it's her son. So yeah, this one, Big Daniel is able to sleep, and little Daniel would meet his mom. They have their usual talk, not usual talk. They talk for a bit and have a bit of just some fun. They're like they go out for dinner. They have fun. That's it. So yeah, Daniel and Duke they had their usual performance at J High, but Daniel and Duke would perform with Vin Jin and Mary Kim. Now when it came to fight versus Gun, when Daniel fights Gun would notice that Jake Kim is like basically a lot of famous people are here. Like basically all of Allied are famous except for Daniel. So yeah. With this, we notice how many people are there. You know, Jihan and Ji Byung aren't really famous because they stay in the countryside where Ji Chang isn't really a prominent force right now. He's a sheriff and that's about it. Even Hudson is known, but yeah. Plus, Channing was acknowledged by Gu apparently, so I assume Gun would know Channing at the bare minimum, which means he would know Hudson. So yeah. So yeah. So with this, Gun would notice them, and he saw their potential. So with this, Jake would actually, I'll ask Gun if he wanted to fight, because Big Deal isn't really under Gun anymore. They're under Daniel. So he says that this time when they fight, Jake doesn't fear consequences of losing or winning. And Zach just says that he's hanging out Mira, so this fight needs to hurry up. As Zach is stretching, he's ready to fight Gun. Gun accepts Zach and Jake, and Zach and Jake would fight Gun. Gun's actually pretty impressed by them, as if we use canonical scaling for Gun right now. Like, if we use how strong he might have been. Zach and Jake cook him. It is a very disrespectful fight if we use how strong this Gun might have been canonically already. So, like, this Gun could probably get the same beating from, like, Hostile that he got before. So with these two being able to solo that version of Hostile, um, yeah, Gun's either losing or having a stalemate, and stalemate is the best case scenario for him. So, yeah. Pause. All right. So with this, we can say that Zack and Gun have or Zack and Jake probably beat Gun, or he's a stalemate. We can go with either one. By the way, Gun walks away beaten up, and Zack and Jake have a few bruises as well. Now later, Duke does start streaming, and so does little Daniel, where he streams himself working out and training. He also does stream with Vasco, Jace, Jay, and Sophia. Jay trains more often, because, well, he wants to, and he trains Daniel, and Sophia would supervise the training that Daniel and Jay do. And Jay had the idea to stream Vasco and his Muay Thai training so that Allied can get some more income. So yeah, now with this big deal, they have a big deal streak because Allied income is very important to crews, so I'm making up income for them. So big deal is really not even paying Gun anymore. So at the money that they make, they don't really need to give 1 billion won to Gun. They give like 200 million to Allied, and that's kind of what they do. Then we have Ansan's club scene, where that still goes out to them. It goes to Allied. Then Chung does farm crops. That'd be a good thing, where it's the farming crops and all that. So them. Then streaming would be Daniel and Vasco. And then Jay kind of makes his own money, but so does like Jace doesn't really have anything to do, and Jay already invests and buys a lot of businesses, so Jace and Jay handle stocks and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Now, due to Duke getting popularity from a lot of people, like Vasco, who's very popular very quickly, Duke gets more of a big scene than bullying. Like, people actually support him now because of Vasco. So, yeah. Now Zoe starts streaming as well, and she's obsessed with Big Daniel, but little Daniel would still crush. Well, not still. This time, little Daniel would crush Kingdom Lord, and Zoe has a bigger obsession over little Daniel. Because one, he's a bit slimmer. But also he's nicer to Zoe, because I'd say in the future he's probably the one dating her, so he knows what she likes. So yeah. Now when it comes to Zack and needing his new shoes. Now, Zack already doesn't really like Gion High, so Zack would likely crush them a while ago. And Woojin would have never had his shoes either way, so Woojin shoes were never his. Yeah, most crews, or most schools in Gangso, countryside crews like Ansan, Gyeongtak, Chungcheongdo, and Suwon, and Chonliang, they're under Allied control, so there's already a few thousand members of this crew, but not all of them are core members. So yeah, but here's how this goes. Hudson, Jihan, Jibyom, Jackie, and Channing formed a small crew that basically took down every king and their students and crews, but not Zack and Gongseop. So yeah, they did this right about the same time that Zack had come to his senses. So yeah, they kind of did that thing. But Hudson, due to him being the son of Ansan, he took a majority of the credit. So yeah, just because his name alone carried a weight, but also his much stronger fist was basically unstoppable when it came to the Kings. So yeah. Then we have the all right, what else? The school trip where they had the counselor thing. Now Zack is already protective over Mira this arc, and Jay kind of already called the police the moment he arrived. So yeah. Now the moment the counselor looked even at Mira's different direction, Zack beat the snot out of him. It was a pretty easy thing for him to do. And Mira was very confused when the cops arrived and confirmed, oh yeah, this guy is a confirmed R-worder, so good job. And Mira was like, oh, how'd you know? Zack's like, because he mumbled a very inappropriate phrase. I'm not reciting it. That was a lie, but he would have. So, yeah. Now, Mira does point out that Zack is already very strong, and due to his monk training and him kind of being a lot older than he actually looks, his matureness kind of made her attracted to him, so they kind of had the small relationship already. But Mira would officially ask Zack out, and he's very happy, and they start going out. What else? So yeah, now we go on to like little Daniel going to see his mom. Now with a mixture of surgery plus dieting plus hardcore training for the last month or two, Daniel looks how he does after Sophia's training. So yeah. So when he sees his mom, she's very amazed. But on to Logan. Logan didn't recognize him until he heard Daniel speak, saying, "Oh, wow, Pikachu, you lost all your weight." But I didn't forget that day. It's time for some pay. If we can say payback. He is just flipped in the air, but Daniel is using Aikido. As Daniel basically gotten back all of his skill, but not physical power in his body. As soon as Logan hits the land, Daniel would kind of do a small leap in the air, grabbing Logan by his neck, pinning him down, then using a series of elbow strikes to the face to knock out Logan. The other bullies basically just back away as far as they can, because Daniel beat Logan pretty easily, even though he's so small. Other than that, Daniel gets along with his mom pretty well in this arc. That's one about Jay. He didn't really come because of the fact that he knows that Daniel can handle himself now, even if it's someone like Logan who barely trained super hard. So yeah. But what else? Pause. Now, Taejun and Du Lee. They have their usual streaming problems when they want to go viral and they start trash talking other streamers. Then eventually, Daehoon Shin is one of the streamers they trash talk, and they get captured. So yeah. Now when Daehoon is streaming who he captured, well, they were kind of laughing until they saw Taejun's outfit. As they pointed out, like, "Oh no, Daehoon, run! That guy's associated with the King of Seoul, not King of Seoul, Hero of Seoul. That's Vasco's title." And if they don't know the Hero of Seoul, they call him Hero Muay Thai. That's the title of the streaming channel. And immediately, Daehoon's like, "Hero of Seoul, Hero Muay Thai. What's that?" And anything he remembers, he's like, "Oh, that's the guy who keeps kneeing mountains to train Muay Thai." Now, before he goes to even untie them, Jace had already arrived. And immediately everyone's like, "What? That's Hero Muay Thai's manager." And Jace says, "Sorry, Vasco is kind of busy, so you have to settle for me." Comments still didn't calm down, which did concern Daehoon even more. But the two lackeys that Daehoon has would rush at Jace, but Jace does this signature just double take on that Vasco does, where he just sounds like, "Oh yeah, just back fist and then like just side fist," and so it's what he did to Jin Jang and Huang Ho. So yeah, Jay just kind of just did that and flying away, and Daehoon Shin was going to pick up a bat and swing it at Jace. But before anyone even blinked, the bat had shattered, and no one even saw Jace's hand move to destroy it. But then Jace would just grab Daehoon Shin by the face, and began squeezing, crushing his jaw, as Daehoon's teeth kind of just came out of his mouth with the force that was exerted on his jaw. Now, Jace kind of just threw Daehoon to the ground, picked up Daehoon's camera, and said, "Everyone, check out MC Duke, Hero Muay Thai, and King Daniel to learn how to rap and defend yourself against phonies like these guys." And then before anyone else could comment something, Jace just broke the phone and grabbed Taejun and Duke, and then left. Not Duke, I mean, and Du Lee. So yeah. But honestly, this video's kind of gone on long enough, so I'm gonna pause it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.